Knight's Kingdom presents Rocket League Demo, Episode 1, A Sudden Spark, written by Keserovic. At the second round of the 2023 championship race, Nick Cratar and the other 10 racers are at the starting line. When the lights hit green, they begin the race.
First lap is in and Jonah McQuire is in the lead. Alex Kramer seems to be trying hard to catch up.
As the first lap continues, Vance Atchinson passed Alex Kramer and is heading toward the lead.
And Vance Atchinson is catching up, but McQuire is definitely still in the lead.
As the race continues on to the second lap, Nick catching up to Jonah, making them be neck and neck with each other.
And right now it looks like Cratar is neck and neck with Jonah McQuire. Maybe his luck is coming back to him this year.
You bet it is.
Suddenly, a loud bang can be heard.
What the?
Another loud bang can be heard as Nick's tires began to be sliced, causing his car to drift uncontrollably.
Oh God!
Nick would crash into an advertisement sign, breaking his car. The other racers eventually passed him. Cut to 11 months later, Nick is at his home on the spare room, watching the event online.
Yikes, what an unexpected disaster!
Nick let out a sigh. Then Shell Cratar walked in.
Still haven't moved on, have you?
Isn't that obvious?
Shell sits next to Nick.
Nick, don't stress yourself.
How can I not be? This is the 5th year in a row that I've lost. Last year being my worst loss so far. This year's championships are coming up, and if I don't win, my career is over.
Don't think like that.
Nick gets up, starts pacing around the room. As soon as Nick continues to speak, Shell also gets up.
I've tried not to, but God, it's eating me up.
Shell stops Nick from pacing.
I know, dear. I know. But it won't be the end of the world.
I know, but still, what am I gonna do? Racing has been my thing for years, and it's the only thing I'm more good at.
You still have a loving family.
Shell kisses Nick on the cheek.
Thanks, honey.
Speaking of family, can you take Drako to his soccer practice tomorrow afternoon? I'm going to be a lot busy by then.
Yeah, no problem.
Nick and Drako were in Nick's car. They just stopped at the parking spot 10 feet away from Drako's soccer practice.
Hey, kiddo. You've been awfully quiet lately. Anything okay?
Yeah, I'm fine.
You know I can tell when you're lying, right? Are you getting picked out at school again?
Not so much anymore. I'm just worried.
Worried about what?
You're going to compete in the championship soon, Dad. If you lose again, it's gonna get worse.
Drako, come on. I get that you have doubts, but you can't let those worries affect you. You got your own stuff to worry about.
I know, Dad, but it's so hard. You used to be so awesome at car races.
Even if I don't win, everything's going to be worked out.
I want to believe that. I do, but...
Don't worry, kiddo. Everything's gonna be okay. It's not like I'm going to disappear all of a sudden.
I guess you're right. Thanks, Dad.
No problem, son. Now go to your practice. Call me when you're finished.
Drako left Nick's car. Nick looks down and sighs. Nick, now at Stan Kirkson's office.
Coach, I know you don't want me to give up right away, but I've just lost enough times already.
I get it, kid. I have doubts too, but there's still hope for you. I've known you for years and you've never given up. Now isn't the time.
But what can I do? It's not like luck can just magically happen to me.
I know that, Nick, but I need your career to stay intact.
It doesn't even matter. My race car isn't running great like it used to.
Stan thinks of an idea.
You know, there might actually be a way. I know a guy that can make one car a speed killer. If I can contact him to work on your race car, your luck will strike back.
Couldn't we take a different approach?
You didn't even get a single scratch in your whole career. I'm confident that you're going to be just as dandy.
I guess you're right.
That's the spirit, Nick. Now go home. I'll call you when the car's done.
Nick then leaves Stan's office. Few days later, Nick drives to a suburban area where Stan lives with his regular car at the sunset.
Well, this is where he told me to meet.
Nick got out of his car and walks toward Stan's neighbor's garage. Nick's race is also at the garage.
Aw, Nick, just in time. This is my neighbor Tim, the guy I was talking about.
Hello, Mr. Cratar. My name is Tim Cavagan. Just Tim is fine.
Nick looks around.
Well, Tim, I can see that you're a tech-savvy.
Every time I have trouble with my car or my phone, this guy will do the job. Tim, why don't you show him the improvement of his race car?
Certainly.
Tim walks closely to Nick's race car.
You see, Nick, I changed the spark plug, reduced the weight a little, and then I increased the speed transmission on your to the Maximus. This way, you can even finish the first lap in a single minute.
Whoa, sounds amazing, but I'm not sure if it'll be safe to drive this thing.
Not to worry. I made sure it is as harmless as possible. And with that, you could test it yourself.
But not here. You're gonna test it on a more safer area.
Scene cuts to the championship racetrack at night with Nick in his race car.
Don't get nervous, Mr. Cratar. Just drive like how you normally race. Man, test your new speed.
All right, I'll try.
Nick starts the engine, pushes the clutch pedal with his left foot, and starts driving. The race car is going 67 miles per hour.
All right, let's test the speed and hope I don't die.
Nick then pushes the gear shift forward, and the race car is now at 110 miles per hour, and tiny sparks come out.
Whoa, that's faster than I normally drive.
As Nick kept driving, his race car slowly went 112 to 114 miles per hour. Eventually, he stopped on the finish line. Tim was looking at his timer.
You made it in 1 minute. Just like I said.
Nick then gets out of the race car.
Ha! You see, kid? I told you your luck will strike back.
How are you feeling, Mr. Cratar?
You know, I'm feeling a bit confident about this.
Brilliant. I watched the event on television to see the process.
Few days later, at the first round of the 2024 championship race, Nick was at his motorhome that's a bit closer to the racetrack. He's in his race outfit, looking at himself in the mirror, talking to himself.
You can do this. You've got this, damn it.
Then there's a knock at the door. Nick opened the door, and it was Shell.
Hey there, honey.
Hey, Shell. Is Drako with you?
Shell went inside.
Yeah, I asked if he wanted to see you, but he said he's just got to the seats from the stadium.
Guess he's still nervous for me.
Hey, I'm sure he has hopes for you. I know that if you made it to the final, he would be so happy for you.
Well, I do have high hopes too.
Nick and Shell got closer.
I do too.
Nick and Shell then kissed. Cut to the stadium for the first round 2024 championship race as the audience is cheering. Shell and Drako are on the seats. Stan is also on the seats from the other side, and all the 10 racers, including Nick, are at the start line.
Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. We're starting off this afternoon's first round with 4 laps. We have new racers and a few returning, including Nick Cratar again.
When the lights went green and the race began,
And they're off.
as the racers started driving, Tom Watkins was heading in the lead.
Looks to me like Tom Watkins is in the lead.
Then, Nick grabbed the gear shift and pushed forward. His race car is now going 110 miles per hour, slowly passing Watkins.
What's this? Cratar is suddenly passing Tom Watkins. Yes, and he takes the lead.
As the racers are trying to pass Nick, Nick's car is slowly going to 114 miles per hour. The tiny sparks on some spots on the car. The audience are shocked and cheering on Nick.
Whoa!
Oh my god.
Wow, Nick's car might have pulled some muscles recently.
As the second lap rolls up, Nick's car is slowly going 118 miles per hour. The tiny sparks continued appearing in each second. The racers were going as fast as they can to pass Nick, but to no avail.
Oh yeah, baby!
Holy Jesus, Cratar is on fire right now.
That's right, boy. You got this.
Go, Dad, go!
Nick later managed to pass second lap in 30 seconds, and the audience kept cheering on.
Third lap rolls up and Nick is still in the lead.
You can do this, Nick. Come on.
As the race continues, Nick eventually makes it up to lap 4.
Fourth lap and Nick maintains the lead.
Vance Atchinson is getting closer to Nick.
And from my commentator's vantage point, it looks to me as if Vance Atchinson is trying to catch up again.
All right, come on, we're almost there. We're getting there. Come on, man, come on.
Then suddenly, Vance's race car starts to slow down as it's getting empty.
Oh, looks like someone hadn't got his car refilled.
God damn it.
Vance's car then eventually stopped. Nick then eventually made it to the finish line first, causing the audience to applaud and throw hands in the air, including Drako and Shell.
And Nick Cratar wins the first round.
Woo!
Drako and Shell hug in excitement. Stan claps from the other side. Nick stopped his race car. He took out his helmet and looked at the audience, finally cheering at him. Nick smiled as he's now in full confidence.
Finale, here I come.
Couple weeks later, scenes fade into the Racing News Channel studio. The anchor is about to cover Nick and the 2024 championship race.
Now onto a more ongoing event. The iconic Nick Cratar's luck seems to be increasing as he keeps striking wins. And now he's in the finals with Brady Thompson, Advic Berman, and last year's champion, Jonah McQuire. There are rumors that Nick's race car may have been tampered to increase the speed to get his wins, but these are just speculations.
Cut to the aftermath of the afternoon's third round. Nick was being interviewed post-race.
So, how does it feel to be in the finale?
It feels amazing. After a few years of losing, it feels like my life is finally getting back on track in a way. I'd like to do racing for a long time when I can.
Cut to the aftermath of the night's third round. Jonah McQuire was being interviewed post-race.
How confident are you about the finale with Nick Cratar?
Very. If I can win last year's championship, then I can win again this year. No hard feelings for that Cratar fella, but that old-timer, he had his time. It's my turn to have a legacy.
Isn't Nick Cratar only a few years older than you?
I don't give a damn.
Cut to Nick getting out of the car, walking towards the school's backyard, where the Drako soccer tournament is taking place. Drako runs toward his dad.
Hey, kiddo, did you win?
Yep.
Drako shows Nick the trophy.
I knew you guys would win. I'm so sorry I wasn't there to watch.
Oh, it's okay, Dad. I was a bit bummed, but I still had courage. Actually, it came from this year's championship race.
Really?
Yeah, I learned to just try and keep going no matter what.
Nick puts his hand on Draco's shoulder.
I'm proud of you, Drako.
It sucks that I won't be able to see you in the finale, since I have a test on Friday.
Yeah, that's a bummer.
Hey, maybe you can show me how to make cars faster.
Well...
Before Nick could answer, the girl Sam was on Draco's team came in. Hey, you're Draco's dad, right? The racer. Can I get your autograph?
Sure, kid.
Yes. Sam pulls out a picture of him and a pen and hands it out to Nick. Nick grabs the photo and pen.
Who am I making this out to?
My cousin Robert. He's a huge car nerd, especially racing. Just Rob is fine. Nick wrote Rob on the picture. Thanks. See you later, Draco. Sam ran off with the autograph.
Bye, Sam!
At the stadium's garage, Nick's race car is getting ready, and Nick and Stan are waiting inside.
Well, kid, I have a feeling you're going to be a big winner today.
Yeah, after years of losing, maybe today's the day.
I bet it'll feel good to get a legacy back.
I feel awesome already!
Then, Tim suddenly ran towards.
Tim, what are you doing at the stadium?
We're in big trouble. I was in a diner a block away from my house and overheard someone who worked with McQuire. McQuire's car has increased the speed transmission into Maximus. They said it's for the final.
Damn, he must be on to us.
Well, if he plans on going fast, then I have to be faster too.
I'm not sure it's safe to go then 120 miles per hour, Mr. Cratar.
It's the only way to beat the championship. I just don't want Jonah to win.
That's my boy.
Well, if you say so. Just be careful.
Cut to the startup line at the final round of 2024 championship. Nick, Jonah, Brady, and Advic are at the startup line, waiting to start the finale. Audience are cheering more than ever. Shell is in the seats. Stan and Tim are also in the seats, but a bit further from her.
It's time, folks, the finale of this year's championship. There are 6 laps this time. Here are the 4 finalists for the round, including our last year's racers, Cratar and McQuire. I can tell how much excitement and intensity there is between them and the fans. Will McQuire win the 3rd time, or will Cratar get back his legacy?
The way I see it, it looks like I'm taking your legacy.
Nick glares at Jonah. The lights go green and the race begins. Nick then immediately grabs the gear shift and pushes forward to 116 miles per hour. Jonah also pushed his gear shift, and his car is 115 miles per hour, slowly catching up to Nick.
And Nick Cratar is already in the lead. McQuire is also catching up to Cratar.
Advic and Thompson were trying to go faster, but to no avail. Nick and Jonah would make it to the 2nd lap in 1 minute. Nick and Jonah pushed their gear shifts more forward. Nick's car is now at 125 miles per hour, and Jonah's car is now at 123 miles per hour. Tiny sparks start appearing more on Nick's car.
It's the 2nd lap, and it looks like the rivals are now going faster.
As the race continues, they both push their gear shift even more forward. Nick's car is now 136 miles per hour, and Jonah's is at 135 miles per hour, slowly going neck and neck at Nick. They made it to the 3rd lap within almost 1 minute. More sparks are appearing on Nick's car.
Oh, God.
The 3rd round, and it's neck and neck between Nick Cratar and Jonah McQuire, and they're even faster now. Nick's car seems to be setting off some fireworks.
They both made it to the 4th lap within 50 seconds. Nick's car is at 156 miles per hour, and Jonah's is at 157 miles per hour. Slowly almost passing Nick, sparks continue to appear on Nick's car.
The fourth lap rolls up and it looks like McQuire is going to pass Cratar.
Come on, kid. Come on.
You got this, Nick. You got this.
40 seconds later, and they already made it to the fifth lap. Both cars are 179 miles per hour, slowly going to 182 miles per hour. Sparks are getting bigger on Nick's car, and the audience is cheering even harder.
The fifth lap rolls up and the fireworks on Nick's car are getting bigger.
30 more seconds later, they made it to the sixth and final lap. Both cars are now 186 miles per hour.
The final lap is on. They are neck and neck. Who will be this year's champion?
As they were close to the finish line, Nick pushed harder to 188 miles per hour, and then suddenly one big spark appeared all over his car for 1 second, and then he and the car disappeared. The audience was immediately shocked.
Huh?
The hell?
Oh no.
Where? Nick?
Nick suddenly traveled to a more short and futuristic stadium. He immediately stops his race car before he could crash into another car.
But whoa!
The audience in the strange stadium was surprised and confused by Nick's appearance. Nick gets out of the race car. As he looks around, he noticed the stadiums looked more like that of a soccer field, yet there are more futuristic-looking cars.
Cars on a soccer field? What's going on?
Nick then saw a big soccer ball.
Whoa! That ball looks bigger than the cars! That's something you don't see every day.
Who's this guy, Andy?
No clue, Charles. He appeared out of nowhere. I'll use my scanner.
Andy zooms in on his scanner and scans Nick. A few seconds, the scanner shows the results.
No way. Is that Nick Cratar?
Who?
Then the announcer spoke with his mic. Folks, the man who just appeared out of nowhere is none other than the former racer Nick Cratar, who disappeared 25 years ago. The audience gasped in shock.
What? 25 years?
Wow. Who knew a sudden time traveling would cause a disappearance?
Andy, do you know what this means? Nick might appear in a Rocket League match.
That does sound interesting, but he might be planning on getting back home soon.
The motor on Nick's race car suddenly lights on fire.
I spoke too soon.
To be continued.